Welcome back to the Pure Purpose Podcast. Such a delight to be here with you. I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. I'm going to go a little different tonight. I'm going to just kind of go from the heart. I really don't have an agenda with this. A lot of times when I'm shooting episodes, I'm really talking about a main theme. There is a little bit of a theme in this, but I just want to talk about really from the heart for a minute. And, you know, I look at around, and I've talked about fear on here before, but I'm going to talk more about fear. You know, fear is a funny thing. Literally with fear, the same thing that we are scared of is the same thing that we're going to continue running right into. Fear has the ability to get us to run right into that thing that we are trying to run from. And it's interesting to me that that's where we land in our world today. We, instead of love, we want to lead with fear. And it's something about, I get questions all the time. There's something about this. I get questions all the time. And Bobby, how do I do this? And how do I do that? And I'm going to be honest with you. When it comes down to wanting to know who you are as a person, your identity, okay, there is one way you can do that. And I believe that's through Jesus. I do. I believe it's through God. I believe it's a relationship with Jesus Christ. I do believe that there's only, because your identity is so shaped by everything in this world today. How do you know where to land? And a lot of people that I run into each and every day are led by fear. Everything that we're bracing for impact on things that are coming our way. Why are we led by fear? Why do we have that innate thing in us to be so scared of the things that we may not know? Where did love go in our society today? Why are we not able to be more kind? Why are we not able to just lead with our hearts to say, hey, I care about you. Who you are matters. I value that. A lot of times we push our own agendas. We get in situations where we want certain things to happen, and we think that circumstances or people around us will help us get to that place. Instead of actually just saying, you know what? I don't know what the future holds, but I'm willing to say right now, I want to learn everything there is to know. So when I build my foundation, that is my life, when I build that to a place, I'm going to be proud of a life that I'm living. In so many situations today, it almost seems like everybody has a motive. The truth of security is so important. What is truth to you? Where do you stand when it comes to believing the truth? Where is your foundation built on? I remember for many years, a lot of you know my story, but this is not even about the story or the alcohol. It's about everything that came with it. It's about the insecurity that developed in my life. It's about the neglect that I lived in for many years. It's about the voids that were in my heart that were being filled by unhealthy things. And going through that, I realized one thing, that until I knew the truth about anything, I had no clue what I believed. My relationship with Jesus Christ changed everything for me. No, I'm not talking about the traveling. I'm not talking about the fact that he set me out to do something amazing. I'm talking about the fact that he changed my life from the inside out. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a cell adhesion molecule called laminin. And if you actually go Google that cell, it is shaped as a cross. We are made in his image. That's what it says in the Bible. We are made in God's image. And that cell adhesion molecule that holds our body together is called laminin, and it's shaped as a cross. And it wasn't until my life got unraveled, that I was able to start doing something about it. And it's when God entered my life and the lies were replaced with truth, is when I was actually able to make sense of everything that I went through. Guys, we're living in a world that you're seeking out things that you think is building your life, but it's actually tearing you down. There is no amount of money that's going to change the fact that your soul is off. There is no relationship that you could ever get in that's going to fill the void of love that God has for us. There's no house. There's no job. There's no shoe. Nothing that can step into the world and let us have that fully forever. That doesn't exist. If you think about it, relationships are the only thing we take with us. Relationships. When we leave this world, you're not going to be known by your bank account. You're not going to get up to heaven and register your bank account, right? You're not going to have the house. You're not going to have anything materialistic, any business you had, whatever it is. But why are we connected to people? Why are we mom, dad, brother, sister, son, daughter, aunt, uncle, niece, nephew? It's the one thing that God gave us to be connected to people here. And yet so many of us don't know how to do relationships well. So many of us don't understand what it means to honor people. I've been here too myself. So many don't understand what it means to value people. Because we're looking for the things that we think are going to fill us. But what we don't know is those things are actually making us worse. And that's why we don't do the things that we need to do. Why aren't we taking care of ourselves? Why aren't we asking for the proper help that we need when we know our life has become a problem, when we know there's that thing that we keep struggling with that isn't going to go away and it's deteriorating us? I've been getting a lot of questions lately. And one of the questions I got lately is, how do I build the foundation that negativity loses its footing on? It's the way you can do that is you have to start knowing what the truth is about everything around you. The thing what we're seeking belonging, we're seeking acceptance. There is only one place where we can gain that. And that is through a relationship with Jesus Christ. So how do you build the foundation that negativity will lose its footing on? You have to know the truth. You have to build the truth upon your life. Sure, we can go after positive things and positive self-talk and do all these things, but this stuff has to have a place to land. If you learn something and you only apply the idea to it, it doesn't have a place to land. So therefore, it has no place to sprout and take root to actually grow inside of you. So you're only displaying something that is not actually there long term. It's only there for a moment because you only know the idea. You haven't become it. We're not going to do it perfectly. We're going to make mistakes because we're human. But if we choose to say, you know what, I'm going to seek out truth, I believe you're going to run smack dab into the gospel of Jesus Christ. And I'm just going to say it. David, make this a real. There's going to be people that are going to disagree with me. There's going to be people that are going to tell me God's not real. I'm going to hear that. But God is real in my life. I've experienced him. I was a nobody. until he came into my life. And I don't mean nobody as I was nothing. I was always somebody to him, but I was a nobody. No one knew who I was. But when God gets a hold of your heart, his glory can't help but shine through you, and people are always attracted to light. And so my experience tells me that the foundation that has been placed in my life is the true foundation from the beginning, way before I was born. The destiny was already sealed. And you can only know love if you know God. I'm not saying you can't have a strong like for someone. I'm talking about the love that has no agenda, the love that doesn't boast, the love that knows no wrong, the love that can be hurt and not hurt back. How do I create self-love, I've been asked, and create peace in my life? You have to know the one that knows how to love. You have to know the one who is the Prince of Peace. We are building our lives on ideas that don't have places to land. And so we're only putting on a costume for a short time. And at the end of the day, it leaves because it never took root. I was actually talking to someone the other day. And they were talking about a situation that they just got out of in a relationship. And they were saying, this person, he was very loving and this and gentlemanly at the beginning. I was like, no. I go, he only showed you that. But the reason it didn't stay, because that's not really who he was. But if you had actually took the time to get to know him and been friends with him, you would have seen over time it didn't add up. Because the idea of what he showed you was good, but it had no place to land. It couldn't stay. And she looked at me and she's like, wow, that's so true. I was like, yeah, it is. Even if I get on here, I can tell you all these things. I can talk about what it means to positive self-talk, and I can talk about becoming your best self. The only way I did any of this is by knowing Jesus. And I'm in process. I'm not perfect. But at the same time, it's one of those situations where these things, they have a place to land. And there's some seasons that are amazing. There's some seasons that aren't. We're going to make mistakes. We need a chance to learn and grow. We need a chance to be able to fall down, bump our heads, stand back up, figure it out, and keep going forward. I don't want to make this podcast seem like there's a bunch of crazy ideas out there and there's no way to apply them. No, there is, but I will promise you that if you only try to apply the principles and the ideas, it actually won't become a life transformation. And so at the end of the day, just understanding, where does this stuff have a place to land in my life? That's a question I want you to ask yourself. Where does this stuff have a place to land? Does it have a place to land? Are you cultivating something inside of yourself that will make room for new things to be entered in that will sprout you as a human being? Because contrary to what you think, life isn't about getting our needs met. That will happen, but it's not about that. And we have to be confident in who we are as people, and we have to take care of ourselves internally. I don't believe we're here for ourselves. We're here for other people. I didn't become a Christian for me. I didn't give my life to Jesus in February of 2012 for me, I didn't know what it all entailed. I just saw a better life. And I saw something that was truthful. For the first thing in my life, everything that I ran after, that was the first thing that I saw that was actually truthful. And that's what I saw. That's what changed everything for me. That's what made this thing real. And the fact that I had been through what I had been through and that I could have access to it, where does that exist in our world today? I didn't see it anywhere else. I put all my faith in other things that never, ever, ever would fulfill me, would only leave me emptier than when I started. And I realized that this stuff didn't have a place to land until I met Jesus, and then it had a place to land. I can't explain the process to you. It's supernatural. But I want you to think about this tonight. I want you to ask yourself this question. Where does these ideas that I'm learning have a place to land in my life? And if they don't, I'm going to encourage you to start searching. Run after the gospel of Jesus Christ. Start in the 4 Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Start reading it. Ask God to encounter you in that. See what happens. 2 questions that you can ask yourself. Has what I've been doing to this point worked? And why not try this? I can always go back to the life that I was living. I want us to be able to understand these ideas and actually put them into play and learn something like, oh my gosh, I want that part of me. You have to behold something to become something. And once you become it, then you can release it. If not, it's only an idea. You're going to be okay. I love y'all. I wanted to share from my heart tonight. So much gold inside of you that's going to help you walk the greatness outside of you. Continue to live whole and a full life. And I want you to remember that even though you experience pain in life, doesn't mean that's going to be the final answer. The pain shapes us. And what shapes us will overwhelm us. So what are you shaping yourself with? What are you overwhelming yourself with? I love y'all. I'll see you next time. Next time.